Tonight I want to tell you about the time that I forgot how to use a water faucet. It was in November, and I had been suffering with liver failure for a few months. And one night I was at home by myself with the exception of 4 dogs and a cat. And I went to the bathroom, and I went to turn on the water, and I couldn't remember what you did with a water faucet. It's something that goes along with liver failure. You tend to forget things at odd times. And as I stood there trying to figure out what was going on and why I couldn't remember how to work the water faucet, I suddenly just fell over and realized that now I was lying somewhere between the road and the sink. Well, that wasn't a good situation at the end, so I crawled my way back out into my bedroom, at which time my 4 dogs surrounded me and escorted me to the bed. I finally made my way back up on the bed, but I knew that it wouldn't be a good idea if I went to sleep at that point. I knew that probably my blood sugar was dangerously low, on top of all the other things that were going wrong in my body at the time. So I laid down on the bed, and one of my dogs, Gabriel, came and sat beside me. Now, Gabriel had joined our little pack about a year and a half before that. One night we were coming home from dinner, and I happened to look down the street where we lived, and there was a dog, and I thought it was one of our dogs. And I said, "How did Kundin get out?" Kundin's a Chow Ragi mix that was named for the Dalai Lama. And I was like, "How did he get out?" So we called this dog over, and it turns out it wasn't Kundin. It was this little red Chow Shepherd mix with a really, really messed up neck. He had parts of a chain embedded in his neck. Undoubtedly, he had managed to get away from somebody. So we said, "All right, we'll put him in the garage. We'll see what we can do for him, and get him to a vet or something. And we'll take care of him, and we'll find him a home." Well, we opened the garage door, put him in the garage, opened the door into the house. He invited himself in and made himself at home. So he stayed for a year and a half, a little over a year and a half total. But that night, Gabriel came and sat by me. Every time I would close my eyes and almost pass out, Gabriel would lean over and lick my face. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but he did that for over 3 hours, never moving from my side. Every time my eyes would close, he would lick my face and wake me up. And he did that until my partner Michael got home from the paper route he was doing in the middle of the night and was able to take me to the hospital. I credit Gabriel with saving my life that night because there was a good chance I would end up either in a diabetic coma or something else if he hadn't tried to keep me awake all that time. So Gabriel was really special to me. And he stayed with us until after I had my transplant. And unfortunately, after my transplant, he and Kundin, named for the Dalai Lama, decided that they couldn't get along anymore because they were both trying to protect me all the time because I was in such a pitiful state. And so they began fighting over me. And we're not talking little fights, we're talking big fights. And so eventually we had to decide somebody is going to have to find a new home. And as it turned out, it had Kundin much, much longer than Gabriel. So Gabriel was the one that we had to find a home for. And we were lucky enough to find a home for him with a friend of my sister. And she took him in with her 2 kids, and they fell in love with him. And he fell in love with them. And that's where he stayed until last year, when he finally passed away from old age. And they really loved it. It was a great match. We stayed in touch by video chat and the occasional phone call, just to see how he was doing. But Gabriel was a very special part of my life. And up until that point, I had always been centered on show dogs. My family was into show dogs from the time I was a little kid. We always owned purebreds. My brother won the national championship pom, and I spent a lot of time running around the Southeast to dog shows. But after we adopted Gabriel, I decided, okay, as much as I like purebred dogs, no more. It's always going to be rescues. You rescued me, I'm rescuing them. So now we have 2 rescues. We have Tuffy, who is rescued from pack. He's a Cocker Spaniel, and sort of the light of my life now. He's my boy. And then we have Snowy, and Snowy's a cockapoo, a designer dog. Snowy originally came from Petland. And if you know anything about puppy mills, you know the word, you know the term Petland. Petland was one of the most infamous retail outlets in the world for puppy mill dogs. So I shudder to think what her parents went through living in that life. And because of Snowy, I've gotten involved now with working to end retail puppy sales from the puppy mills. And that's what I've been working on the last few months with a great dedicated group of people who are working towards making Tucson the 34th city in the U.S. to ban retail puppy sales. So that nobody else like Snowy's mom and dad won't have to suffer. If you're interested in doing that or joining us with that, there are some brochures out front, and we also have a Facebook group. You'll find that in your program. So, join us, look us up. We can use all the help we can get for this. Because, hey, the dogs save us, we save the dogs.